Good evening and welcome to this very special presentation of Coffee and Headlines, where we interview the wonderful musicians Duo Dorado, who we know as Amy Armstrong and Fernando González. It is a pleasure to have you joining us. If you're familiar with them, you know them as two regular Puerto Vallarta performers that have a long career together and separately. If you don't know them, you will be so very happy to get to know them tonight because they are organizing an amazing one-time concert at Teatro Vallarta that we should all go watch and enjoy. So let me introduce them to the studio. Here are with us Amy and Fernando. How are you guys?
Hi.
Hi.
Where are you? The view looks spectacular behind you.
We're at Fernando's place.
Well,
It's not his place. He's renting here though at Paramount Bay, and we're on the balcony. I want to give you guys a great view of Puerto Vallarta because right behind us is the ocean, the pier. It's pretty spectacular.
beautiful.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I have so many things that I want to ask you about. But for starters, let us talk first, if we may, about the concert itself. I mean, you guys are performing at Teatro Vallarta, and I know that performing at Teatro Vallarta is a complicated affair because it's huge. How on earth did the concert come about? And tell me all about it.
You know, we were talking while we were, doing the live streams during COVID because we've done 100 live streams for the last 2 years. And we just wanted to make sure that we had a live audience again. And we were so craving that. And we saw that things were going in a better direction. And we were sitting around talking one day and I said, I think we could do Teatro Vallarta. I said that. And he was like,
Let's do it.
let's do it. Like he didn't even hesitate. He was like, I believe in you. Let's do it. And then we had to go about talking to the management, figuring out if we could do it. And then we were wondering if we could go and partner with someone. And our most popular live stream was with Brandon and James.
Yes.
So our first thing to do is we called them up and said, look, we want to partner with you on this. Would you do this show with us? And right away they said yes too. So it all kind of came into place. But that was just the beginning. And we had no idea
No.
the enormity of this and what we were taking on. But we've been working on it every day and we're so pleased with it because we really wanted a concert to kind of say goodbye to this old year and like hello to the new year. And we want to do it musically. And I wanted to challenge myself, and so did Fernando, by doing one of the biggest theaters in Puerto Vallarta. And we thought Teatro Vallarta.
Yes.
What kind of challenges have you encountered?
Oh, so many things, between permission from the city hall to the cost of the theater to getting sponsorships to help banners and posters and getting all that together, to making sure we get all the musicians that we need, to making sure we have all the instruments and all the sound that we need, anything and everything. And on top of that, selling tickets for the event as well.
We've had problems for the last 2 weeks, but now it's good. So lots of challenges.
Lots of challenges. And every day we had to work on this. And I think a part of us was like, we didn't realize this would be every day. But it also challenges us. And also, I can't believe we can do this with all these different artists. We're going to have a dozen artists on stage.
Yeah.
All live music.
All live music, nothing tracked, all live music. As
And
I'm thinking about it now, we're going to have 2 saxophones, 2 cellos, a violin, 4 guitars, percussion, and I'm going to say anywhere from 4 to 6 part harmony.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is going to be something no one's ever seen before. If you thought, oh, I'm going to go see this, and I've already seen Amy and Fernando, I've already seen Brandon and James or PL Canella, it's something that is an epic concert because we've all, done these group numbers. We're doing solo stuff. We're all challenging ourselves. All these musicians are, and we wanted it to be one of those big, humongous musical send-offs for the year.
I know that, excuse me, I know that performing with tracks is very popular and very convenient in the city, to the point that a lot of people have gotten accustomed to listening to great musicians, whether it's singers or instrumentalists, performing with pre-recorded music on the background. How would you go about explaining to the general audience the enormous difference between always hearing a track that is going to sound the same every single time and the gorgeous spontaneity of live music?
Yeah, we don't sound like a track. It's just like a band. It brings a totally different energy than playing with a track. You know?
Plus, when you have a track, you have to be so exact on everything that you do. Whereas when you have live musicians, and if you're feeling it, you can jam or do like more improv stuff, you know, a longer solo. Maybe we keep going because we're feeling the energy in the room. You can't do that with a track.
Of
and
course.
I feel that as someone who's been doing this for 27 years, I love the pure sounds. I know people said, oh, I can get this keyboard, it can have every sound on it. It still doesn't sound like a true guitar or a true, you know, like a cello or any of the percussion stuff that you use. It's just, to me, I love the sound of, and there's a different energy with live musicians than there is with the track.
Let me interrupt for a second because I forgot to announce at the beginning, since there may be some people here that may not be familiar with my regular broadcasts, we're going to have a question and answer section at the end. So I'm seeing some really beautiful comments that we're going to show up on the screen in the second half of the broadcast. But I want to make sure that if anybody has specific questions for Amy and Fernando, we will address them in the second half of the interview, and I will just kindly ask you to add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your question so that we can identify them from just a back and forth comment. Now, I have a question for you both. How did COVID take you by surprise? What was happening? What was happening in your lives right before COVID, personally and professionally?
Well, it was March. And we were still in high season with everything here in Puerto Vallarta, obviously. And I had just gotten through a long bout with doing chemo because 10 months before COVID, I was diagnosed with cancer. So I was ready to wear and to go. You know, I was cancer free and feeling good. And then all of a sudden they were like, here's a mask. I was like, what? And it happened very abruptly. Like we were told, I believe it was March 17th, a few years back, excuse me, that said, you're done. Like they said, no more live music right now. If you try to do live music, we will stop it because there's this virus going around. And we really weren't.
And I guess we didn't know what it was coming.
We didn't understand.
No. Anybody,
and
I guess.
think we just were like, what do you mean we can't perform? Yeah. So that, I think it was 2 days later, I looked at him and said, do you want to just do a live stream just so we can like play some music? And we started right here at Fernando's place.
We started with no microphones,
no light,
just a stand.
No ring light,
my guitar,
no soundboard.
Very like a basic.
We just had like me, him on guitar, the camera, and a couple of cocktails.
But then we have like the first one like 10,000 views.
17.
17, the first one, and then said, oh shit, we have to make this thing like more professional.
We couldn't believe it. We actually were kind of like, we hope we get a few people to watch it. That's what was there. We both said we just don't. We were scared. We were yearning to play music. We didn't know what was happening. So I think both of us were just like, let's just play music. It'll make us feel better. And when we got done with the broadcast and we saw that 17,000 people had watched us, and then it was more after that. I'm talking about at that moment. And really, for the first year that we did this live stream, we would have anywhere from 5 to 20,000 people watching us. And I really was kind of blown away by those numbers. Yeah. We both were like, we couldn't believe that many people were watching, but we also were so grateful because we kept doing it every Friday. We kept saying, same show, same time. We're going to have like a regular thing and create. We didn't know we were going to create this musical family online, but we did. And we were so happy. You know, some weeks I was living for that 1 hour, Paco. I was so excited about Friday, because it just gave us that hour to perform, be ourselves.
And we decided to do them because we have so many people watching. So then we said, why not do them on Sunday? And then we can help others, like waiters, restaurants, the owners of the restaurants. And we did very well on Sundays. And we were not touching that money at all. We were giving it to the waiters, the owners of the bars to help their employees.
Helped like Garbo's, Wet. Industry. We did No Way Jose Industry. We helped Nacho Daddy when they were giving out food. We did, because on Sundays we do our show on Friday, but then we do a Sunday afternoon show, and all that money on Sunday afternoon would go to the people of Puerto Vallarta.
We did groceries many times.
We did groceries for people. We did dispensaries for people. We just figured if we could do it that one day, why not do it on a Sunday and then help people as well? And we never touched that money on Sunday. That all went to whoever we could help.
You know, I watched your 100th broadcast, the last one, and I have to say, I was taken by surprise by a number of things. Number one, it was a huge love fest. I mean, it was a huge love fest in a sense that you are projecting and sharing so much love, and your musical family is giving you back so much love at the same time. Did that take you by surprise?
It made us, first of all, it made us feel so special. I think because I think in our world we thought we're doing this for us as therapy. You know, this is helping us as musicians because we have nowhere to play, nowhere to go. This is a way that we can finally show people our musicianship and like get it out there. But we didn't realize that we were helping everybody because we were going through stuff too. So we'd talk about it. I'd talk about stuff that happened. You know, I had a recurrence, so I had to go through chemo again. And everybody online kind of saw me as I lost my hair, as I wasn't feeling well, or, you know, I was saying, I'm not feeling well today, but I'll do my best. And the support and love I got every week just kept me going. And also at the time, Fernando had gone through a breakup, and that was, and the music was very therapeutic for him too.
It did.
And we both just kept saying to each other, I'm so glad we have this. I'm so glad we have this. And we didn't realize how many people we were going to touch with our music. And now we're seeing all these people coming up to us, hugging us, crying, saying, you got us through COVID. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing to hear.
That's wonderful. Now, the second thing that I noticed in this love fest, I was enjoying it and I was feeling all the love. And all of a sudden I said to myself, I wonder whatever happened to Amy that used to curse like a trucker. And as soon as I started asking myself that, whoops, something came out of your mouth. And I thought to myself, oh, there she is. She hasn't changed altogether. How do you juggle your very powerful musicianship with your naughty sense of humor?
You know, I always just thought I was a singer. And the reason I started doing comedy was because I had someone heckling me. This was in Chicago years ago when I was like 23 years old. And some guy was very drunk and he was at the piano bar. And as you know, it's very close proximity. Someone's sitting at the piano, you're standing there singing. And he would just be all drunk, sing Melancholy Baby. He kept saying that like 14 times during the night. Finally, I was like, look, I don't have it. Get over it. Finish your drink. And I was making jokes and all of a sudden people were laughing. They were like, you're funny. I'm like, am I? Because I wasn't trying to be funny. I was actually trying to get the guy to stop. But I realized that my humor could be used during, when I was performing. And I really consider myself more of an entertainer. Like I'm a singer. I love to sing, but I love to do comedy. So I always look back at like old Barbra Streisand and Judy Garland and Bette Midler and like the Sonny and Cher show, Donnie and Marie, all that. They had singing, but they would do like funny comedy skits or they would dress up crazy. And I love that mix because you would love a song and then they would make you laugh. And then they would do a serious song.
What about you, Fernando? I mean, those of us that know you, we are friends, and I know that you're straight, you like your women, but you get a lot of attention from guys too. I mean, how do you navigate that? How do you navigate that?
Well, when I first started playing with Amy, she always mentioned this on the shows that she asked me, look, I have a big gay following and you're probably going to be hated by gay guys, straight guys, and like girls, boys. And I said, look, I have no problem with that. I grew up in PV and I am very open. I love my people. I love my community and I have no problem with that,
He's got a lot of confidence. He never once was there a pause when I would say to him, you're going to get hit on by men and women. They look at you as like their fantasy.
No, I like to just make them happy. And I mean, there is sometimes it's been moments when I have to probably make a line, but I have no problem with people talking to me and tell me jokes, flirt with them. I am okay with that. I have no problem.
Anybody watching your 100th live and watching you shake your ass will know
He
that
loves
you have
shaking
absolutely
booty for
no
that 100
problem with
show.
that.
I love it.
He was in a booty shaking mood. I don't know what was going on.
Whoa. I mean, and it happened more than once. It
Yes,
was
it did.
fascinating.
I
Now,
kept turning around like, what are you doing?
I'm glad we never had problems with Facebook because I mean I hear some people did, right?
Yeah, but I don't think we did. I mean, really, the wildest we ever got is we all took off our shirts.
No, it was not that.
But I don't think it was. You know, in my mind, I'm like, that's nothing compared to a lot of stuff that you see, and it was all organic. Like we didn't plan it.
No.
It would just like happen. We'd be having a good time. Next thing you know, they're saying, take off your shirt, and then that one Brandon and James show where we all took off our shirts, even me and my bra. It's these guys would give us money, and I know that sounds like, oh God, that makes me sound bad when I say that, but like you're like, oh, we can't do it, and then they'd be like, would you do it for this? And I'm like, yes.
Just pimping everybody.
I'm pimping everybody out. That's what Fernando would say. Amy is the pimp. I'm like, no, I took off my shirt too. And I can tell you, I know it was impromptu because I wasn't wearing the best bra, and I should have. And then one night I did wear a great bra, Paco, and no one asked for it.
you know, I was not going to do viewer comments until later, but Cheryl, who also shows up in my broadcast, is saying that there were quite a few shirtless shows as well.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
That's very true, actually. And
Well,
we're looking forward to it.
okay, so it's a love fest with a little bit of cursing and sexiness thrown in. And the third thing that really blew my mind out of watching your final live is the crazy musical fusion you've created. I mean, they say music is a universal language, and it is. But Amy, you come from such a different world musically than Fernando. Fernando is all Latino, flamenco guitar. You are a blues, R&B, pop chanteuse.
Yeah.
How have you influenced one another with your particular styles musically?
I think we've influenced each other every day. I think that during COVID, the one thing I thought about with us is I said, look, we have to have a pattern every day so we don't go crazy. So let's get up, you know, get a shower, get coffee in us, Starbucks. And I wish I could be a sponsor. I freaking love Starbucks. But no, and we decided we were going to practice every day. And I kept saying to him, because in the beginning he was like, Amy. I was like, no, listen, this is going to help us mentally. It's going to help us down the road when we have many songs to choose from. And we're going to give people a new show. We're not going to give them the same show. Every week, we're going to try to give them different songs, different themes, different artists. We're going to bring in like a clarinet player. We're going to bring in a violinist. We're going to bring in this cello. We're going to bring in a bass player, piano, whatever it was, because we wanted to switch it up every week so that you were excited to see us every week and see what differences we had from the week before. And we just thought of it as our job, and every week we had a job to do, which was practice every day. You know, like Monday we get all the songs down because everybody gives us, you know, we say, hey, give us like songs you want, you know, and we do that Friday show, and then Saturday and Sunday we would gather all the songs. Monday we would meet, go over all the songs, figure out what we wanted to do. We would practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and be ready for the show on Friday. It was really an act of discipline that helped us both as musicians.
Yeah.
The other night, I heard you tackle Bill Withers' Just the Two of Us, which is such a soulful kind of sexy song. And then you turned it into a bossa nova for a second. How did you come up with that?
It's just, there's I think, you know what, I have to say that I play with the most talented musicians here in town, and I just learn from everybody, teach me something, and I got that from, I think, Mimi. I mean, everybody teach me always something different.
Well, we also tell the musicians that play with us, if you have an idea, if you have something that you want to bring to the table to make it sound different, or, you know, can we put some Spanish flair on this, or what can we do? This is more Gypsy King. This is more like Luis Miguel. This is more. So I loved it because we asked our musicians and ourselves, how can we make this different? And I love that we can open that up, because then that brings us together better musically. When you say, you know, I don't want to be strict, this is the way it has to be. If you want to show me something, and if I'm like, I'm digging it, then we'll go with it.
How has your musical choices, let me be specific in this question. The other day, when I was chatting with Brandon and James, and you guys were watching, I asked them about the specific challenge of Puerto Vallarta having become a town of tourism entertainment, and how something more music, as is their show, was sometimes more challenging to sell than the musicians that play with tracks, or some of the drag queens and all that stuff. I have nothing against drag queens. I have nothing against people that play with tracks. Everybody makes their own choices. But how has it become challenging for you guys to stay true to your craft and to sell it for what it is?
Well, I don't think we have trouble selling it, because people know that we're real. There's no bullshit with us. Like, we do a show right now called Raw and Real. We keep our equipment on the stage. We have it all sitting there, and we don't have like real fancy backgrounds. It's all about us. It's about this guy right here playing the guitar, me singing and being silly, Louise playing cello and beautiful percussion. There's never, you know, like, I don't have to cover up anything with glitz and glamour and fireworks. Like, we're the real deal. And I always say that to them. I go, you never have to worry, because we're the real deal. Yeah. And I don't have anything against anybody doing whatever they need to do. I'm sure when someone comes to visit for a week, they don't want to see us 7 days in a row. They want to see a variety of entertainment. But I'm glad that we have kept to our live music roots, because that's how he started and that's how I started. And I don't have a problem with tracks, but to be honest with you, when people want me to play with a track, I don't really have one. I always use a live musician.
Yes.
And for me, that's how I lift myself up on a higher level, when I have live musicians. Now, it takes more work, obviously. And also you have other people you have to pay, because you have other musicians. But I think it's worth it as a musician and someone who's been around for 27 years. I'm glad I learned new stuff from these guys, because, you know, I'm 50 now and I've been doing this for a long time. And I'm glad that I can always look at music and find something new and unique. And he brings that to me.
Oh, it's just mutual, you know, like I have to say, all the songs that she gave me, like during all this time we've been together, is a big challenge for me, because there's songs that I'm not even know that they existed, and then she comes with the songs and I listen to the songs. Some songs they not even have a guitar, and I'm like, how I'm gonna change this song to sound different, you know?
What a great challenge.
That's a challenge. And there's this song that people sometimes make fun of, that the White Rabbit, that I didn't know.
Oh my God. It was on one of the live streams. We were doing 60s music, and someone suggested White Rabbit, and he was like, Amy, I don't understand this song. I'm like, you gotta be on a lot of drugs to understand this song.
Yeah.
And it was funny, because at the end his face was just like,
I
that's
did
the weirdest song
like
I've
a
ever
flamenco
done.
part on that song in the middle, because the chords, the key, it gave me a chance to play with it, but it's just like so weird. So.
And he's challenged me though, because he's also said, Amy, you need to sing in Spanish, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, come on, I'll teach you. I'll write it all out for you.
I write the songs.
He writes them all out for me, and he tells me like how to do this. And that's why I'm so excited, because I challenge myself every day as well. We both do. And I think that's good. Why stay with the same old, same old? I like that we do different stuff. Some stuff works, like White Rabbit. He's like, never again. And I won't do that to him. We did it. But we did it.
I'm happy
on the live stream after that week, they saw his face. That's the thing, is when you see our live stream, you can tell when we screw up or some shit happens. And his face was like,
well, I have no filters when I screw it up.
And so then the next week, everybody kept saying, why'd you play White Rabbit? He goes, come on, guys.
I'm happy to report that my new friends, Brandon and James, are watching. They just shared a comment. Can't wait for this show. See you all soon. I understand that Brandon and James are now in Barbados or some crazy place.
Oh, I'm sure they're always traveling those two.
I know. And they told me they arrive on the 20th. I'm sure that you guys are going to get really busy with rehearsals as soon as they arrive here.
Oh my gosh, yes. Every day before the show, for sure. Like we're very dedicated to what we do. We're all really professional. That's the other thing I want to say about this group that we have. all very professional musicians that want to do the best job they can. And that's why this show is going to be so incredible, because we've worked so hard on it for so many months now, and we're bringing it all together.
Yes.
And that's the thing about, I was saying, like, I love that we call it one night only, but believe me, I keep telling people it's going to be epic. It's going to be epico, because all those versions, all those people at once, and these group numbers are just going to be incredible. And James is doing the arrangements for us, and they've been working.
Wow.
Well, we're just so excited, because when we got together for the live stream, our adrenaline was through the roof. And really, that live stream with Brandon and James was our most popular and most financially successful live stream we had, was with them.
That's wonderful. Well, I am sure that it will be a treat for everybody watching. What I'd like to do now is rewind the comments and start taking a look at some of the questions or comments that people have shared. Again, if you have any specific question for Amy or Fernando, they're both, I don't know if you're both single. I don't even know. I don't want to know if you're single or not.
Girlfriend, I got a boyfriend.
Well, there you go. Let me take a look at some of the comments. If anybody has any questions, please add a capital letter Q at the beginning. And I'm going to be putting some comments on the screen. There's a lot of hellos from people. Deb Donaher says, Amy, met you on the ADA, not knowing how talented you are. Feel honored and hope we can meet again. I don't know what the ADA is.
No, Ada Sailing. It's AIDA, Ada Sailing, and it's great. They go on 4-hour or 6-hour journeys, and you can swim and watch whales, and we saw sea turtles, and we had such a good time. And you also get a meal, and you get drinks. He's crazy. No, we had a really great time, and I've done that sailing more than once, and I love it. Thanks, Deb.
My friends, Dan and Kathy say our Christmas present to ourselves is VIP seats to your event. Very excited to go. It is also on my last working day before retirement.
Ooh.
And I will add something to that comment. I happen to know that my friend Kathy is on a wheelchair. There's another comment coming up where she was wondering how does she make sure that they get handicap friendly seating. Is that something that I can coordinate with you, Fernando, or who can? Because I want to make sure that my friends are comfortable at the theater.
There is seating for people who are handicapped or have wheelchairs.
There is seating for that.
There is. And just let everybody know, this isn't at full capacity. They're making sure that, everybody gets their temp checked, and that, we're not doing this. We're making sure that there's spaces available for people if you feel uncomfortable in a larger venue. So know that we're taking precautions for everybody. But if you have a disability or a wheelchair, there are places for you to sit, and that we're going to make sure they bring the wheelchair right there.
Kathleen is asking, another Kathleen is a Chicago girl. Amy, is Chicago your hometown?
It's where I grew up, but I actually was born in Detroit, Michigan. And I had a wonderful childhood. I was an only child. My parents were both great. Both were not musical. So for me, it was very strange when I started singing at a young age. They both looked at me like, what's going on? Because my mother was tone deaf and my father liked music. He used to listen to like Sergio Mendes and the 66. Like, I remember his record player very distinctly. And they loved music. They just, both of them never played an instrument or sang. So I think they were kind of surprised that I had such a love for it, especially at a young age. I was singing and putting on shows for my stuffed animals when I was like, 4 years old, 5 years old. And my mother was, I think, didn't know if it was going to work out. Like, she was scared, I think. And I started taking lessons, and she even said, if you miss a lesson, you're done. Because we were struggling as a family, and those lessons were expensive. But I'll never forget it. She gave me a Panasonic tape recorder. Remember, they came in red, blue, or yellow. And she gave me a pack of 3 tape cassettes. And she said, I want you to practice. I want you to record all of when you get your singing lessons once a week, and you have to practice every day. The day you don't practice, the day I don't take you to see your teacher. And one week I was, as kids are, you're like, I'm not going to practice and see what happens. She didn't take me. I cried so hard. And she was like, I said, I promise I'll practice. And then from then on, I always wanted to practice and learn new music. And it was exciting for me. and I didn't know it was going to turn into my career, but I knew I loved it and I had a talent for it. And I remember my mother saying to the lady, if she's tone deaf like me, forget it. And the lady came back and said, no, she has a natural gift, and I'm so happy she's here.
Oh,
It was, yeah. And she was like, it reminded me of Beaches, because she was like a lady that did opera and was in vaudeville and had like a pipe organ and a piano. And she would do all these different things and like teach me how to, sing and teach me how to breathe. And she had these Reader's Digest songbooks, and I learned from them. She had like all the whole collection.
wow.
And I remember like taking lessons from when I was young, and I will never forget that. And that's how my career started.
Well, you just answered half the question that I was about to put on the screen next. How old were each of you when you fell in love with music and decided that you wanted to perform for others? How about you, Fernando?
Sorry, can you repeat that again, please?
¿Cuántos años tenías cuando empezaste a tocar y decidiste tocar para otras personas?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you did that. Thank you. Well, I started in a church, and I am sure that has many musicians. They start always in church, and I come from a very poor family, so I used to escape many times and go singing at the buses. So my mom didn't like me to do that, but I escaped many times, and my mom said I wouldn't listen. I start playing at the church, and I learned all these songs from the church. And then we were so poor that we didn't have money to buy clothes, food. I'm a hungry boy. I'm always hungry. So I wanted to buy my things my own when I was like 11 years old, 12. So I used to go when my mom was not home. I used to escape, take my guitar, and I used to sing at the buses songs from the church. And I was singing songs from the church, and people was tipping me. People loved my voice. So then what else I did? So after the buses, then I stopped, and then I started working. Like years later, I stopped music probably for 10 years, probably, because then I started growing up and I wanted girlfriends, and then I was embarrassed to play at the buses. Very embarrassed.
Uh-oh.
And then I started working on discotheques. Then I ended up at Garbos. Garbos
Wow.
as a waiter. And one day they didn't. So everybody know Mamas. Probably most of the people know Mamas. Javier's mom, Garbos, and she know my story. And one day the musicians that's supposed to play there, they cancel, and she told me, "Well, do you want to play?" And I was very nervous, and that's how everything started in Garbos.
Oh, wow. Wow. For those of you that don't know, Garbo is a very popular bar here in town. It's a beautiful bar in the city where live music is frequently performed. It's one of the prettiest venues, I think, where the owners Javier and Germán have been very kind to allow for a lot of new musicians to get started. Speaking of being hungry all the time, Donald Stordahl is asking, Fer, how much muscle mass have you put on since the pandemic?
I don't know. I just work out and I eat very well. Like I like to eat clean. Sometimes I
Very clean.
like I have a balance, on the weekends. And if I want to eat something, like I do it. But I like to be very disciplined with my food.
Very disciplined. He even brings the food with him at the venues that we're at, because he has certain food that he needs to eat to keep his muscles like all.
No, just discipline. I want to be good.
There is an early request for you to take your shirts off on the 30th.
I don't think I can do that in Teatro Vallarta.
Maybe on the encores. Maybe the encores. You never know. If the boys want to do it, you know what? If we get enough people, okay, I'll put it this way.
Oh, shit, she's pimping me.
No, I'm pimping you out because I'm going to say this. If we get 500 people at that venue, will you take your shirt off?
Maybe.
No, you have to say yes or no. It's like
I'll tell you what, if you get 300 people, I'm the master of ceremonies. I'll take my shirt off.
Okay, that sounds good.
Let's do it. We'll do it.
I love a challenge, baby. Because if you're like, if you want to, when they said, when you pimp them out, it's so funny. I wasn't even the one to say anything. And someone's like, you look better with the shirt off. I said, oh, you have to pay for that. And I was making a joke to like say, no. And then when it was like a lot of money, this one goes, hey, let's do it. I need that money for Costco. We need to go buy some food and do stuff and help people. Let's do it. And he always was like, I'm ready. And there were some weeks I was even like, calm down. He's like, oh, I have 2 or 3 shirts on. I'm going to fool him. And he would like take off one shirt. There'd be another shirt. I'd be like, fur. But he loved it. He thought it was great. And I'm glad because at first I was like, I don't know if I should be doing this. Maybe this is wrong. And then everybody loved it because it was something crazy. And just, like I said, we didn't predict it. It just kind of happened, you know, and we just laughed about it now because we're just like, we never thought that would be an issue or like, you know, take your shirt off. We're like, what? But
Do you guys remember when you met?
Yes. So the first time I saw Amy, I was doing this event at the pump with Tracy. I was so scared. I was like, how do you say,
terrified.
because my first time doing a show in a theater, and then Tracy is like, but fair. Well, Bobby Broadway introduced me to Tracy, and Bobby wanted me to do a show there, and I was like, I want to do it. And then Tracy said, okay, I'm gonna give you a chance to do it, but a show you have to talk. It's just not play like garbles, you know. You have to talk and give like a little speech of who you are, because you are doing Latin music. You need to explain what songs and what the meanings are.
And he's saying that, and I'm walking through the theater because I was going to the dressing room.
I asked her, how do you do it?
And his face was just like so terrified, like,
Yes.
I don't know how to talk or do stuff. And then afterwards, Tracy's like, well, maybe you should talk to Amy and see. And he would be like, he would just be in awe. Like, how do you talk
I
to
already
people?
knew her, but that was the first
How
time
do you
I
do
met
that?
her.
And so I was like, tell him, like I said, talk about your life, talk about why you like this song, you know, make people feel, you know, like engaged in what you're singing, because when you feel it, they'll feel it. And it does help when you talk. And now you can't shut them up. 5 years ago, we didn't know a lot.
But let me say something. So I did the show, and everything went well. I had a few people. I mean, I didn't sold out, but I have good people, friends, and lots of people supporting. But then days later, Bobby Broadway said to me, hey, I heard Amy is looking for a guitar player. You should go with her. And then he said, she's very generous to the musicians. And I was like, oh. Anyway, I didn't go. I was so scared. I couldn't.
At the time, he said, no, I
didn't.
couldn't do it. This was years ago. He said, no, I can't do it.
And then years later, like 2-3 years later, I started working with King Kuzma, and then everything just happened. I've been working with Amy for almost 5 years. 5 years.
Bravo.
And I have to tell you, we just had a bond that there was something about what we did together that made it strong. And I didn't know for a while if I was coming back one year from Mexico. I said I was done with Mexico. And I got a call from Tammy from Nacho Daddy that said, well, we'd like to have you here. And I said, oh, no, I'm not doing Mexico anymore. I've had a tumultuous couple of years, and I don't think it's going to work out. And then Fernando called, and this is what he said to me, and I'll never forget it. He said, Amy, I want you to come back and perform with me. I said, oh, I can't. It took too much out of me. I've had a lot of shit happen to me. I'm sorry. No. He goes, Amy, I'm going to form a band for you. If you trust me, I promise you I won't let you down. And I promise you that we will do a good show. And I believed him. And I really did. And I said, you promise me he goes, we'll practice. You can send the music to us. I promise you we'll do a great show. And I said, I'm only going to do it for a month. I'm only going to do it for the month of January. We'll see what happens, because I don't know. And he was like, okay, and he goes, do you believe in me? And I was like, over the phone, I was like, yes, I do.
Well,
and that's how,
there's more to be believed here. I think the plot is going to thicken when I show you that Brandon and James say people are asking if we're all going to take our shirts off when we reunite. Amy and Fernando, what do you say?
Come on, I say yes. See.
But that includes you, Amy. Are you
playing hard to get? You see him, he goes, we'll see. He will.
We will.
He's trying to be a tease.
You know, Brandon and
how do
James
you say that in Spanish? What's a tease?
Es un coqueto.
There you go, croqueto.
Es un coqueto. Let me stop the questions for a second, because I prepared a little surprise and I left it until the very end, because you know how Facebook is fickle. Sometimes Facebook will just decide that something is copywritten and will shut you down and this and that. But I wanted people to get a better sense of what it's been like for the two of you together. Take a look.
Gonna be someone, gonna give something. I'm taking it all. I'm taking it all. It's gonna be my life, so I'm gonna live each day and each night. I'm taking it all. I'm taking it all. 'Cause I can't keep hiding. No, I can't keep hiding. No, I can't keep running away. 'Cause I'm gonna be stronger, and I'm gonna be better made, and I'm gonna give everything just to bring me back again. And I'm gonna be stronger, and I'm gonna be understood, and I'm gonna give everything just to bring me back again. 'Cause I can't keep hiding. No, I can't keep hiding. No, I can't keep running away. You guys know we love you all so much. Fernando, say goodbye to everybody.
Beautiful.
Oh,
That was so wonderful. That was a trip down memory lane.
what is going through your head right now as you look forward to 2022?
Oh, we just want to keep performing and traveling. I want to make sure that he can travel. I want to go to the U.S. I want to go to Canada.
What happened?
I have no idea what that was, by the way.
Did the sky fart?
Thunder?
It's a thunder?
Is it thunder?
I don't know. I told you,
No idea what that was.
Facebook gets upset when you play chingaderas like that.
I guess. I won't go. No, I just think we want to keep forging ahead, learning new music, performing and traveling. That's what I want to do. And I want to have people become more united after 2 years of isolation. We need to find unification and start being more socialized with everybody again. And that takes time because we've, had a lot of time apart. And all of us are going through something. There's not one person in this world right now that isn't going through stuff because of what we've been through. And I think music heals. And that's what we want to do, is just start the healing process.
Is there anything that I haven't brought up that is truly important for you guys to convey to people? And for people watching, please know that, as always, we will put together show notes for this wonderful interview with links to where to buy tickets and everything that Amy and Fernando.
And there was a problem for a while with credit cards, but now they've taken off this verification code, so you can buy tickets online. But just know you can also get tickets from either me or Fernando. We have tickets on us, and you can buy tickets at Nacho Daddy, and Tammy will be more than happy to sell you tickets.
Teatro Vallarta.
Or Teatro Vallarta.
Like,
but that's one thing we want to make sure, because there was a lot of problems with credit cards.
and tomorrow we'll be at the market. If you guys want to get tickets physical, we have tickets tomorrow at the market. We're going to be playing there with Mezcalito Pop. And Amy and myself going to be there too.
Yes.
Excellent. Anything else before we wrap it up?
We just want to say thank you to everybody who's watched us. Thank you to all of our fans, to all of our friends who gave and kept watching show after show. This is our first week not doing a show in a long time. And it's strange, and we're just so happy we could have this with you, Coffee and Headlines, Paco. And plus, if people don't know, Paco's our master of ceremonies. That's why I said it's just going to be such an incredible show. It's something you've never seen before. And that's why you need to come and celebrate with us. Let's just say goodbye to 2021 and forge ahead into 2022. And please, we just want you to go and support live music and theater. Thank you for coming to Puerto Vallarta and being a part of all this. And we're just really happy. We want to say to Brandon and James, we're just blessed that we have them and we're partnering with them. You will not be disappointed. No. It's going to be epico. Epico.
Well, I have one final comment that I want to put on the screen that says, sing a song, please.
Okay. Grab it. Yeah, grab it. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. He's got his guitar. We can do anything, I guess. But you tell me what you can do without, because we don't have our iPads or any of our stuff. So
You want to do
yes. Let's do that one. All right, Marie, we'll do this for you. I can see clearly now the bright sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright sunshiny day.
Bravo. That was beautiful, you guys. That was
laughing over here on the balcony. They're loving us. We didn't even realize we had fans, and I was like, "Oh God," because they were like, "Hey, man," we were setting up. So happy.
Amy, Fernando, you are so precious and so important to our lives as musicians, as ambassadors for something that more people should embrace, which is the power of live music to transform and improve our lives. It is such a pleasure to connect with you tonight. It is such a pleasure to be invited to be part of this wonderful musical adventure that you will share with all of us on December 30th. I can't wait. And I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to sit down with you guys and share a few thoughts and stories and anecdotes.
Well, thank you, Paco. We just want to say to the community, we love you guys. And we're so happy we can be here and perform. And we love to give back to our friends, to our family, to these people here. And I'm so blessed because I have to tell you, during all this, I really had a lot of support during the whole cancer journey, during everything. I've had the support not just of this guy, who I consider my brother, but also from Tammy and Donna at Nacho and Daddy, from Sean and Treasure. So many people have helped, and you've helped me on this journey to continue living and playing music. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Stay put. Don't go anywhere. Let me just very quickly say goodbye to everybody that is viewing us. Amy, thank you very much for joining us. Fernando also. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I just want to make sure that everybody that is not familiar with my broadcast, we get together every morning here in Puerto Vallarta, Coffee and Headlines on Facebook at 10:30 in the morning, and we examine headlines from our city, from our state, from our country. We talk about Mexican culture. We talk about all kinds of wonderful things that you may be interested in if you live in Puerto Vallarta and you are an English-speaking local. Give us a chance. Check it out. And thank you so very much for joining us for this wonderful interview tonight. I'll talk to you soon.